All right. January 1st, 2020. Dear Diary, this is my year. I know, I say that every year, and New Year resolutions are silly, but I mean it this time. I can feel it. Something about 2020 is different. I have a feeling it's going to be full of some serious wins. Life has been so hard since 2016. I am looking at 2020 as a fresh start, and I plan to make the most of it. Here are just a few things I hope to accomplish. Number 1, travel. I realized last week that I'm almost 30 years old and I haven't traveled overseas yet. I don't want to wait because, well, you never know what could come along. So I purchased plane tickets to Italy. I know, it's a little birthday gift to myself. I fly out April 1st, just 4 short months away. I'm so excited. I also have 3 weddings this year, all out of state. But for once, I bought tickets ahead of time and got a great deal. I don't know why I always wait until the last minute, pay too much, and then get mad at myself. I'm sure the weddings are all happening, so why not save some money? It feels great to have crossed this off my to-do list. Setting myself up for success. Number 2, be more social. I know that I have written a lot about my introverted nature and how much I regret not participating more in all of the great festivals that Chicago provides in the summertime. So 2020 is the year I am committed to saying yes more. Yes to festivals, yes to concerts, and yes to brunch. If you see me surrounded by less than 10 people on a Saturday morning come May, please slap me. I need to get out of this house more. Number 3, get consistent haircuts. I know getting a haircut is literally the easiest thing in the world. I just need to do it. Number 4, practice patience. This is where I'm hoping to make the most progress. When Trump was impeached on December 18th, I really let my family have it. I know that the upcoming trial will be the most difficult part of 2020, and I really hope to practice patience by then. Try to educate my family, listen to their side of the story before flying off the handle. But I do think our conversation on Christmas Day at my grandma's house surrounding white privilege really got through to them. I mean, I hope so, because to be honest, I don't know if our relationship could stand another argument about injustice. When will it end? Number 5, explore the idea of working from home. I think I'm sick of going in the office every day, commuting, eating lunch, being around the same group of people, making small talk, taking walks along the river, shaking hands. Ugh! I wonder if I'd be good at working from home. As long as my husband keeps his day job, which why wouldn't he? I think I could be good at it. But then if he decides he wants to work from home too, well, all I can say is God help us and our marriage. Can you imagine? Number 6, sell my car. I never drive the thing, and I can take the train literally anywhere I need to go. Sure, it gets crowded, but I'm not afraid of getting close to people. Number 7, smile more. Because it's the little things that make big change. Don't you think? Anyway, I need to go to bed. My other goal for 2020 is to keep a consistent sleep schedule. It's probably my biggest concern right now. Bring on the roaring 20s. Thank you. My name is Andy Meholock. I am a writer and performer in Chicago, and I really hope to see all of you at shows when we can have them.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Rani Rage Radio.
I'm Sonal Aggarwal.
I'm Indurti. This is a Discourse and Discomfort.
And we're really taking it to all sorts of levels. I mean, we're actually missing the regular pandemic.
I know. Remember the good old days of April when we just couldn't go outside?
And everyone was baking?
Yeah, baking banana bread. I really feel like 2020 is like a lesson in perspective because like each month we've been like, oh, remember last month? Because like I feel like in March everyone was like, oh, remember January when we were just afraid about a world war?
And I was like trying to reference that. I'm in this writing class right now, and I'm like, do you guys remember when there was like that nuclear tension happening between India and Pakistan? And I'm like, wait, that was this year, right? That was January.
That was this year. That's how this year started off. And in January, people were like, oh, remember what the good old days when we were just mad at Trump for being racist? And that was just the news. Like,
I mean, people legit like did not even remember about the nuclear flex. They were like, oh yeah, that seemed potentially bad, but it's so like irrelevant right now.
And any other year, that would have been like something we'd still be talking about. But like this year, so much has happened that I feel like people have already forgotten about COVID. I mean,
and this could be the beginning of the end of racism.
Ooh, you think so?
The real pandemic? No, but I mean, it's exciting. Honestly, we've all been watching so many videos, and one of the things that I saw where like this little white girl was being championed for talking to her parents about the way that they like whether or not Black Lives Matter, and it's like the fact. Then I saw a Black woman explaining like the fact that she's having this conversation is the problem. The fact that, like whiteness, not white people, but whiteness has now created this like, do we decide whether or not entire groups of people are worthy of existing is totally insane.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, good. I don't know. Because it's like on the one hand, it's good that she's having the conversation. On the other hand, it's fucked up that she has to have that conversation, right?
Yes. And then it's like, what is the focus of the conversation, and we got a lot to get into this episode, but I will say, I think that it is a really exciting time because we have just been like, I've been in these juggling communities and what they're called flow communities. And I've totally been told by these people where I walk into an event and I'm like, wow, it's only white people here. And then for somebody to be like, oh my God, you're like so obsessed about race.
You make everything about race.
And I didn't have a language to navigate that then, but now it's like, okay, that is a microaggression and that is your white privilege. And here is what privilege is, and like we have all of this language to put to our feelings.
We do, but I do feel like people no longer say, oh, you make everything about race. White people no longer say that, but they think it, or they like will just be quiet. And then you're like problematic or annoying. And then you don't want to be problematic, annoying. I also want to have fun and just chill and like not think about this all the time. So you got to like either be the problematic one or you got to just not mention it all. And it sucks.
I want to be one of these people at brunch on a patio while there's like a literal riot going on right next to them.
Right. Yeah, of course I do. No one wanted to be trapped inside in quarantine, and no one wants to have to protest and, think about colorism. No one wants to do that. Unfortunately, the problem is that only a certain group of people have had to do all the work, and that's the problem.
And now, now we all get to do it. And now I'm really, it's like, I'm seeing a lot of people like unfriending people, and, cancel culture was a thing before the pandemic, but now it's like, if you're posting White Lives Matter, I'm unfriending you, which, by the way, have you seen that that K-pop has taken over the White Lives Matter hashtag?
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I thought that was really hilarious. I like the Blue Lives Matter one where they just have different characters that are blue all over it. You would have been really happy. There were Smurfs, Sonic the Hedgehog, the people from Avatar, Pokemon. I mean,
the power of the hashtag.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, all these people are unfriending it, and I'm like, I don't think that's what you should be doing. I think you should be, because I personally don't have a lot of people in my feed that were posting All Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter. But it's like, if you do, then like you should be talking to those people. Like this whole like self-righteousness of like, oh, I'm one of the good whites. It's like, who? Okay, good. Here's the sticker. Now that's
Get to work.
now, yeah, get to work. Now talk to those people who are posting All Lives Matter, because they'll talk to you. They won't talk to me. So that's your fucking job. Stop unfriending people. All these people are bragging. They're like, oh, I blocked this many people this week. I'm like, congrats.
I am
You mean-
actively working to dismantle systemic racism, and I totally unfriended like half of my family.
Yeah, it's like, how is that helping? I don't want you to trash your family. I want you to talk to them.
Versus like I wanted to post this today and then I couldn't because somebody did it. But I wanted to post, like, if you are posting brunch pictures right now and you're white, I'm not gonna unfriend you, but I just want you to know that I see you. I see you. And then I couldn't do it because one of my friends that's white fucking posted a brunch picture, and I'm like, oh God, he's totally gonna make it about himself. He's not going to be.
I mean, that's all the more reason you should post it, I think.
Which is true, and totally like one of the themes of this episode that I'm like, I do not even want to get into it because he's totally one of these guys where he had a white friend who was around me and our friend Amnia Khan, and we were speaking in Urdu Hindi for a sec, and Meg, she came at us like, what language are you guys speaking right now? What language is it? Is it Gujarati? Is it Gujarati? And I'm like, oh my God, that is not a language. And Amnia is actually saying to me in Urdu, like, chalo, niklo yese. She's like, we need to get the fuck out of here, like right now. And Amnia is never like that. Amnia is super like, let's chill, this will be fine. And for her to express such clear boundaries is like, mayday, mayday. And when I was speaking to my friend about it the next day, I'm like, man, that white woman really made me feel that feeling of like, I do not like any white people. And do you think he received that well?
Yeah, of course not.
He got so defensive. He's like, wow, you of all people, I can't believe you're being so close-minded.
God, I'm so exhausted. I don't even have a response to that. I'm like out of outrage. It's like,
and that in a sense is like, because we all have to really choose where we direct our energy, and more than like picking our battles, I guess we do have to pick our battles. I really don't like that phrase though.
I mean, I like that phrase. I don't think you can pick every battle or else you would be exhausted all the time.
Because for me, really one of the main topics is like, how do we stay in conversation with our families?
Yes, that's going to be like the major topic of this episode. How do we, as Sonal, you said earlier over text, how do we build a bridge instead of destroying it?
It is so fun to burn bridges. Like just.
Is it fun?
Well, it is when you're like, done, you're out of the circle of trust.
The light feathers released from mineral, quivering silver tones, a soft light in the darkness of the whole of. The light feathers released from mineral, quivering silver tones, a soft light in the darkness of the whole of. The
orchestra.
The whole of. A soft light in the darkness. The darkness. Whole of.
He lay down on his mattress and closed his eyes. He slept at once. He dreamt uneasily, because through his dreams there ran a thread of something forgotten. Some piece of work neglected that he should have done. Some precaution that he had known well but had not taken. Some precaution that he had known well but had not taken, and he could not put a name to it in his dreams. In his dreams, ferns unfurl in the wet atmosphere, trembling as the ground shudders. He has lost himself in himself. A pulse in ruddy fibers, a shimmer in sticky membranes. What was unmade can be conjured, a tenuous object that no one remembers. He dreams it, rising from the past, committing himself to its afterwards. And the land shivers, and everything disappears, and nothing remains, but all the birds, some still flying, with no place to rest. Crying, whistling, calling, they skimmed the placid sea and left the shore. Make haste, make speed, hurry and be gone. Yet where, and to what purpose? The restless urge of autumn, unsatisfying, sad, had put a spell upon them, and they must flock and wheel and cry. They must spill themselves of motion before winter came. In his dream, his dream, his dreams, his dreams, his dreams, his dreams. Hold up.
We all need to drink more milk and put chalk everywhere because you're all dying.
Just I was trying to get it through. Okay, I'm gonna let you fix it.
We ain't on the same flight, getting high to the daylight. Daylight all the time, trying to get it right, while we trying not to lose sight. Wanna stop and go, 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 stop and go. It's kinda hard to face the truth when you make an excuse. Reality weighs more than these weights that I'm pushing. I'm overlooking and seeing things for what it really is. Blind vision impaired seeing the many mistakes, but fuck it, only God can judge me and times is ugly. I'm sitting with a pretty face, it ain't a race but the clock is ticking. My mind is clicking, I'm thinking it ain't time for thinking. Insanity, what is it? Hey yo, doing the same things over and over. One eye in the mirror, one over my shoulder. One day I'm getting lifted, then the next one sober, hurting myself while expecting all these different results. Had the finger on the trigger, mirror, oh mirror, if I die now, make my next life better. When it's never quit, so why should I give up? The only thing left now is that Beretta. We ain't on the same flight, getting high to the daylight. Daylight all the time, trying to get it right, while we trying not to lose sight. Wanna stop and go, 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 stop and go. Trying to ways to escape all these devilish ways. The only way to move is forward, but I'm stuck in the maze. And I turn the page, it's a new chapter. I get it cracking like a chiropractor. So what to do after? Keep the momentum going. I'm showing that you can make it. Just be yourself, cause everybody else is taking. So I rose through the crack and dodged a victim of the hood. And I'm never gonna stop until everybody good. And I'm praying to God, keep me away from my enemies. I'm waking up the next day and nobody's a friend of me. Everybody's silent, but where the fuck is Kennedy? I'm moving with my life and everything's a melody. I'm so proper, you just cop, I'm straight gold. You niggas trash, just ass down a pole. Shit, I figured to the top is the way to go. Like Pac, this the realest shit I ever wrote. We ain't on the same flight, getting high to the daylight. Daylight all the time, trying to get it right, while we trying not to lose sight. Wanna stop and go, 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 stop and go. Got a long way to go.
You ain't stopping me, you ain't stopping me.
Got a long way to go.
They ain't stopping me, nobody stopping me.
Got a long way to go.
You ain't stopping me, they ain't stopping me.
Got a long way to go.
You ain't stopping me, nobody stopping me.
But many times we start working in an area that we have talent, but it's not our purpose. I tell my kids this: you may start out doing something that is not the thing you were created to do. It may only be the thing that leads to the thing you were created to do. Let me do that.
I was trying to get it through. Okay, I'm gonna let you fix it.
We ain't on the same flight, getting high to the daylight. Daylight all the time, trying to get it right, while we trying not to lose sight. Wanna stop and go, 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 stop and go. It's kinda hard to face the truth when you make an excuse. Reality weighs more than these weights that I'm pushing. I'm overlooking and seeing things for what it really is. Blind vision impaired seeing the many mistakes, but fuck it, only God can judge me and times is ugly. I'm sitting with a pretty face, it ain't a race but the clock is ticking. My mind is clicking, I'm thinking it ain't time for thinking. Insanity, what is it? Hey yo, doing the same things over and over. One eye in the mirror, one over my shoulder. One day I'm getting lifted, then the next one sober, hurting myself while expecting all these different results. Had the finger on the trigger, mirror, oh mirror, if I die now, make my next life better. When it's never quit, so why should I give up? The only thing left now is that Beretta. We ain't on the same flight, getting high to the daylight. Daylight all the time, trying to get it right, while we trying not to lose sight. Wanna stop and go, 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 stop and go. Trying to ways to escape all these devilish ways. The only way to move is forward, but I'm stuck in the maze. And I turn the page, it's a new chapter. I get it cracking like a chiropractor. So what to do after? Keep the momentum going.
I'm riding with new friends from my new home, Chicago, to Minneapolis. It's late afternoon, and the road trip conversations keep coming back to the ways we have been treated during our lives as women. It's not often that your second conversation with someone includes stories about abusive relationships and rape. But this is 1987, and we're headed to my first Take Back the Night march. It's dark when we get there, and the streets are alive and powerful. The streets are almost entirely women. My friends and I have come to leaflet the crowd, connect with other revolutionary-minded people. We would spread slogans like, "Women hold up half the sky," and "To be a woman is to live in a constant state of suppressed rage." We came to raise consciousness that to women, men are too often the reliable agents of her oppression. It's a powerful thing to watch the sky darken and be out on the streets, city streets, back streets, rural streets, in the company of 1,000 or more women, and without fear. I watched more than preached, and drank in this rare show of female control of the streets that we've been trained to fear at night. But I cannot stop eyeing their sashes. Everyone, as if in a pageant, is choosing strips of cloth that identify the abuses they've lived through, concretizing the message of why we march down these dark streets. I survived rape. I survived domestic violence. I survived incest. Every woman I pass with a sash on makes me shudder, sinks me a bit deeper, hurts me a little bit more, makes me miss a beat, stumble, as they turn battle scars, curses, shame, and secrets into badges. They are postcards sent home from their recent trip to hell, then returning to receive acknowledgments which are then tied across their chests. Every medal of cloth and marker is both a secret between sisters and a war cry warning the enemy, declaring this: we lived and we took notes. Like a good soldier, I had agreed to my assignment of detached activism. But right now, seriously, all I want is one of those damn sashes. And then it hits me. I'm not sure which one. Not because they're too specific, but because I need too many. And too soon, we are marching with flashlights and bullhorns, our own security teams of women and some men. As we march, I decide I should be wearing 7. 1 for the rape at 13. 1 for the next at 20. 1 for the molestation my mind has locked away, although some nights my skin remembers. 1 for the shame of Dad and his buddies from the garage windows with beers in hand, watching me lay in our sunny backyard in my new bikini with my new breasts. 1 for the dark-souled kid in my dorm I tried to befriend who put a knife to my throat. 1 for the father who pressed a gun to my adolescent head, saying, "Well then, I guess I'll have to kill you instead." 1 for the stalker who tried to kill me twice until I left Boston for good to start anew out here. And there ought to be a monument or a placard erected for the victory of living, reading simply, "She lived, she fought, she did not die." Not from the suicide attempt at 21, or the one at 19. Definitely not from the one as a little
5:30
girl.
and 20 seconds.
And I would also like a future sash for the abusive relationship in my 30s, which you'd think, given a decade of therapy under my belt, I'd have really seen coming. But we march, holler, and hold hands. We step to the side, hoping to see how far ahead and behind us the march reaches. But it seems this march has no end. We pass the Native American men leaning against their AIM cars with rifles, on duty at night to protect the Native American sisters against a wave of stalking and assaults. We, too, took back that night in 1987. And these 7 stories tonight are my 7 sashes.
Want me to end it up with a quick shot of the trees? No. All right.
Grandma.
I call my grandmother Gia.
Grandma. Yeah, grandma. Grandma.
Nana.
I think she thinks that like Granny is like kind of cute. Like I think that's her like Jenny from the Block like upgrade on grandma.
Only my sister and I call my grandmother Gia.
It was like a Suki now, you know, so she's Suki to everybody.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart.
I haven't really heard her talk much about her life and her experience.
She instilled like mannerisms and being very poised and always putting your best foot forward.
Because my grandmother is really sure about who she is.
I call her Suki.
Can you?
Because she's
Grandma.
I call my grandmother Gia.
Grandma.
Nana.
Grandma. Yeah, grandma.
My name is Ruth Earl Hudson Nichols.
My name is Claire Range. Diane Allen.
It's Patricia Alcorn.
Beverlyn Struthers. It's Essie M. Harris.
my grandmother is First Lady Ruth Earl Hudson Nichols.
What do you call your grandmother?
My name is Melanie Brazil, and I am the granddaughter of Claire Anderson Range.
My name is Christiana Ray Colon, and I am the granddaughter of Diane Allen.
I'm Jayla. I'm Jessica. We're both twins, so we're 19. And our grandma is Essie Harris.
My name is Kaylin Jacobs, and I am the granddaughter of Patricia Alcorn.
My name is Destiny Struthers, and my grandmother is Beverlyn Struthers.
I came to Chicago when I was 6 years old. Got off of the train at 63rd and State Street. I never will forget that.
I lived 2 blocks over my entire life. So she was she worked, but in my mind, I feel like she still kept all of us, all of the grandchildren. So I'm not sure how that was even possible.
There was not too much to do except to go to the theater, to the show, and we hung out at, it was called the confectionery, which is similar to like a drugstore, which had seating, and you could get Cokes and things like that.
My grandmother was very influential. I used to go over her house every day after school. We would do our homework over there. She always had food.
So I was all in the Bronzeville area before it was fashionable. You know, now Bronzeville is very fashionable and people pay an arm and a leg to live there. Well, I lived there when it wasn't so fashionable.
This whole house was like always my theater. It was always a game of make-believe. I would be in here like pretending that I was running a restaurant and going through all the cabinets and like cooking random stuff.
Our house was right where the Dan Ryan is now. It was in the middle of the Dan Ryan, basically.
She doesn't baby us, but she like would make our lunch. Like, our mom's like, okay, make your lunch, guys. Like, you guys at my grandma, like high school, she was still making our lunch.
Like breakfast in the morning.
I was born in Alabama, a little small town called Enterprise, Alabama. And I moved to Chicago when I was in 6th grade.
Grandma Alvarez's house, we know we're gonna be chilling. We're watching TV. They got all the cable, and we're probably going someplace. So we can't look like we just been playing outside in the mud.
Well, my father worked at the Ice House in Atlantic City, and it was always, he could get work during the summer. But as the winter months came, it was deserted, not like New Jersey, Atlantic City is now. Now it's popping all the time, but back then he couldn't get work, so he moved here first, and 6 months later we followed.
I always liked being at Nana's house because like Nana's house has been Nana's house forever. I remember when I was a kid, my mom and I, we moved around a little bit until we got settled in Orland Park. And so I'd always like to be at Nana's because Nana and Papa were there, and they had cable, which was awesome for me.
My uncle worked for a steel company, and he didn't have to be at work until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So he was my babysitter, me and my cat, Midgie. He was the only one who would just basically listen to me because I was always thinking that I could sing or that I could play the piano. Or, I had many, many dreams, and he would pretend that he was really listening to me singing, and I was supposedly singing operatic songs. And he would say to the family when they would come home, "Oh, that girl can really sing," and I was so proud, so proud.
There's other parts of that story, and I don't even know if you wanted me to go into it.
In my generation, we wanted to work. Our husbands, at least mine did, said, well, you don't have to work, but I wanted to work, so it was up to me.
Are you proud of me?
Yes,
Like,
I am. Would like to have you have a different hairdo.
Burn books, burn beds, burn bridges, burn candles, burn crosses, burn witches, burn flags, burn in hell, burn Hollywood, burn Babylon, burn. Burn books, burn beds, burn bridges, burn candles, burn crosses, burn witches, burn flags, burn in hell, burn Hollywood, burn Babylon, burn.
Maria, mi Maria,
Conservative sheep, liberal sheep, I count all the sheep, for I want to speak. No one is woke, thus I'm going to sleep. Let me count the ways that we all are sheep. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, 4 sheep. I'm sheep, you're sheep, we're sheep, more sheep. Many are shallow, but this shit goes deep. You follow the herd, up with pace you keep. In time and step, behind little Bo Peep. Over those green pastures, in business to leap. Straight to the slaughter, to add to the heap. I'm counting them all, for all counting is sheep.
Your phantom limbs, never know where to begin. Descend interrupted powder rooms, trees a crowd drive 22. Do you feel what I'm sending out? Violence is style, but it seems to be the way the city breathes.
guitar sing perfect melodies while we're in harmony. Undress your mind, let's unwind. Tell me about your life, baby, all your inside. I want cotton candy dreams with you tonight. Hold me tight. Kisses on pink roses, holding a heart that's open. Brown sugar always hoping to get a taste of your love. Didn't wanna show it, but I'm spiraling through emotions. Nectar dripping from my lips. I didn't think it would be like this.
Take me out of this room, bring me closer to you. Any secret I had, you already knew. Take me out of this room, bring me closer to you. Any secret I had, you already knew.
Bring me closer to you. Any secret I